I'd like to call this meeting of the the RTM Parks and Recreation Committee to order. The first order of business is approval of the minutes of January 21st, 2020. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? Let's raise a hand.
Make a motion.
Patty made the motion. Second? Sandy? All in favor? Let's see. Anyone opposed? Say so now. All opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay. Next on the agenda is the discussion of the budget. We're going to start. I'm going to walk us through a little bit of the history. I'm going to go back to those really good minutes that Patty wrote from our January meeting, which was it was a lot of minutes. It's always when we have Pam, it's a great meeting and it's a lot to keep track of. And so Patty did a great job. I believe that the operating budget that we went through then is pretty much intact. I have a number for the operating budget that I pulled from, which is the selectmen's, what has gone from the selectmen to the Board of Finance for $1,928,318 for the operating budget. I'm assuming that it has stayed the same, that it hasn't been mentioned in any of the discussions thereafter. Does anybody want to comment on the operating budget? I don't hear any, so we'll move on to the capital budget. As you probably remember, or maybe you don't, the capital budgets is broken into two parts. One is the recurring, and the other is the non-recurring capital portion of the budget. In the recurring, wait a minute, excuse me, let me back. Okay. That's okay. In the recurring portion of the budget, there were two items. They were the truck, the replacement of a truck for the department at $60,000, and tree replacement for $5,000. In the non-recurring budget, let me go over. And both of those were in our list when we reviewed them back in January.
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on.
Oh, great.
Hi, Cheryl.
There's
Hi.
Cheryl. Great. Well done. You persevered.
All right, I can't, can you see me or not?
I can't. Perhaps the organizer can.
Well, what color is your hair?
Well, we don't know right about.
No, she is only shown as a black dot with a C.
Okay, I guess you're going to be the black dot. Okay, I think you better. We'll take it.
Oh, now.
We'll take it. Thanks. I'm glad you could get on. All right, Cheryl is on her way back to Connecticut from Florida, and she is on the train that you put your car on, and so she's a trooper for trying to get into the meeting tonight. So moving from the non-recurring requests and the capital budget to the moving from the recurring request to the non-recurring requests. They were when we looked at them in January: $11,000 for the valve replacement at Town Hall Fields, $30,000 for the Weed Beach concession equipment, $15,000 to update the playground equipment, $8,000 for the Cherry Lawn traffic study, $10,000 to demo the Cherry Lawn basketball court and seed it with grass, $66,000 to repaint the Weed Beach tennis courts, and $11,000 for the stand-on mower. Now those changed at the selectmen's level, and what came out of the selectmen is the following for the for the non-recurring ones. The Cherry Lawn traffic study was removed. And the tennis courts, repainting the tennis courts was reduced from $66,000 to $36,000. The valve replacement in the fields remained. The stand-on blower remained. The playground, the demo of the playground, excuse me, not the playground, the demo of the basketball court was removed and was replaced with a half-court basketball court at Cherry Lawn. And the playground, the updating of the playground equipment was for $15,000 remained. Cherry Lawn equipment was $15,000. Excuse me, the Cherry Lawn basketball court was $15,000. So, does anybody have any questions?
Can I just make a point? So I just want to clarify, because I was at all of those Board of Selectmen meetings. So when they removed the traffic study, which was $8,000, because they found that it wasn't necessary, and then they removed the $10,000 to demo, which means they mean by that the word rip up that area and seed it. That was taking out $15,000. And then what the Board of Selectmen did, just to clarify this with you all, they used some of that to put the basketball court, fixing the basketball court, kind of back in the capital budget at $15,000. So they used the $10,000 that they were going to spend to rip it up to put towards to repair, and they took $5,000 of the $8,000 of the traffic study that they had cut, and they applied that to the repairing the traffic to the basketball court. That's how they got 15. Thank you, Adele.
Okay, that's a good explanation. That's what happened. Fast forward, that's the way, and that is how the Board of Selectmen voted on our budget, and that's what the budget stands now. Subsequent to that, all the COVID things happened, and the Board of Finance asked them to go back and look at savings, what savings they could find in their budget, and they gave them a specific number that they were shooting for. The Board of Selectmen did go back and look at. First of all, they asked the department heads to give them some information that were possible cuts, or excuse me, they're not cuts, they're deferrals, and we're talking about the possible deferrals. A list from the department head. So that's what that list that I sent you in the mail. That's the possible budget adjustments that the selectmen looked at as they were making their decision of what they might defer. They chose not to defer anything from the Parks and Rec budget. It remains intact as it was when the selectmen voted on it. They removed from the budget $680,000, or rather, they suggested deferrals in that budget of that much. They suggest $500,000 for replacing a fire apparatus to be deferred, but they're suggesting to have it bonded. That's what they were suggesting, as well as sidewalks and work on a gym. And so that plus $30,000 from Public Works adds up to $680,000, which is a bit more than the Board of Selectmen had asked them to find in their worst case. They had two scenarios, and one was more money than the other. That's more money than the one with more asking for more money. So that's how it stands right now. Cheryl and I participated in the Buddies meeting last weekend, and if Cheryl can, I'm not sure who it is that all the noise is coming from. I don't know if it's Cheryl or I don't know how your connection is, Cheryl. But if you want to talk, do you want to talk about the meeting that we had with our F&B and Board of Finance buddies? What we did I'll explain what we did, and then we'll see if we can hear her. We talked with, let me Cheryl?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
I can now. Let us know. We were getting some background noise. I didn't know if that was you or not.
Well, it's probably me.
Oh no, I don't hear.
Yeah,
I don't hear it now, Cheryl. So go ahead.
okay. Well, the horn's not blowing at a crossing. Um, so we had this meeting on Saturday, and it was very informative, and they asked a lot of questions. The F&B committee is questioning whether or not we need the concession equipment at Weed Beach for $30,000. They also questioned the valve replacement at Town Hall for $11,000, and they were they weren't happy with Pam as far as Pam giving them background information, which Adele and I agreed that she's given everybody everything they could possibly want. The Board of Selectmen, first Kate cuts the budget, then we know the Board of Selectmen cuts it, and now it's on to the Board of Finance. But as I explained to them, the concession at Weed Beach equipment is extremely important because, as we know, this is Uncle Deli's last year to have their contract with us. And if we have our own equipment, Pam and the commission feel that we have a better opportunity to get different people in there to bid on the concession stand and provide better service. He didn't provide a very good service at Pear Tree for the last couple of years, and he makes a lot of money over at Weed Beach. So by having that equipment, and it's $30,000, because some of the equipment, a couple of pieces of the equipment, I believe we already own, and then the other equipment would be freezers and stoves and things like that. And I believe that I heard at the commission meeting that Pam said that she's even looked into buying used commercial equipment. So I think she's done her due diligence in getting a fair price for $30,000, and that's what we basically said. They also had on their list Highland Farms, and we explained to them that Highland Farms is not under the Park and Rec budget, that any organization can have an event in Highland Farms. They just go through the Park and Rec department. So they understood that, and I said it's not part of our budget, it's not part of our inventory. And what was the other thing? Oh, the valve replacement?
No, the
Adele?
valve. I think the valve
No,
replacement, Cheryl,
not that.
was everybody left that in there. It was the stand-on
Right.
mower.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
stand-on mower. Yeah, the stand-on mower, they felt was, where is that on my list?
It's
Stand-on blower. It's
$11,000. Yeah.
$11,000. And they wanted to defer that because that was really for the Weed Beach path, Pam explained at one of their meetings, so that the path that goes up and around the back that the DJFL is going to, and the boardwalk and that whole giddy up over there at Weed Beach that's going to be done. So
The
they thought that,
wait. You mean the Darien Foundation or the
oh, the
Darien
Darien
Athletic?
Foundation.
Not the
Okay, I
Athletics
wasn't,
Foundation
That's
and
football.
foundation. Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're donating $1 million+ for that renovation of
Perhaps.
the boardwalk and the path going around and everything else. Yeah, I had the wrong one. Sorry, Patty.
Oh, that's
So,
okay. I don't think the football boys were doing it.
anyways, they thought that could be deferred, but they also felt a lot of the other things could be deferred because of the financial situation that we're in right now and the COVID-19. So
Let me
to
just say
me,
let me just say one thing about the blower there. I think but I think they thought it was to be used just at Weed, but in fact, I think it's supposed to be used at Highland Farms as well.
Highland, right, it's supposed to be used there too. So, to be honest with you, Adele, what do you think? Do you think that we fought long and hard for the $30,000 for the concession equipment, but I don't know.
We lose her?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to watch the movie Unstoppable tonight. Being on a train.
Okay.
Fine.
Are you still there, Cheryl? I think we've lost her. So let me finish up for her. Basically, F&B, they're looking at every single thing that's on this list. And Cheryl and I did our best to explain to them why that was not good, that wasn't a good idea. We didn't really say much about the replacement of the truck. Perhaps deferring that is not as important as maybe these other things, including the updating playground equipment as well. So I guess our question to you all is, how do you want us to handle this as we go to the Board of Finance? I mean, we definitely said our piece with Dan Baumgartner and Rob Cardone are the two Board of Finance members that are in charge of our portion of the budget for the Board of Finance. They divvy it up just the way F&B divvies it up with the budget, so that a couple of them take several different departments, and so they have ours. And so they heard us, and but perhaps we need to make our point to the whole Board of Finance. And having said all of that, as of right now, nothing from the Parks and Rec Department has been removed from or deferred from the budget at this point. So I'd like to open up the floor to if anyone would like a comment. As you notice, we didn't mention the basketball court. Really, nobody said anything about the basketball court, so it seemed like that wasn't a problem.
Adele, this is Cara. Could I make a comment?
Yes.
Yes. Well, first, thank you. And I know Cheryl's jumped off or kicked off from the train, but thank you guys both for using part of your Saturday to do these meetings. So I really appreciate it. And you gave a great summary of a lot of the changes on the budget. I don't know if I'm an outlier, but I'm probably a contrarian to your position on the concession equipment. And my thoughts are as follows. I think the due diligence that I would have loved to have seen was a little more understanding on what the revenue opportunity would be if we bid the contract out. And at one of the board selectmen meetings that I attended, Pam had said that our current bid with Uncle's is $3,000, but Greenwich makes $7,000 on their concession bidding. But Greenwich has 60,000 residents, so it's almost 3 times as large. So I guess from that, from the only other data point, and I haven't done it, it said we're maybe getting a really good deal. So if we spend 30,000, I'm not sure that there's a better revenue opportunity. So that's why I would have questioned that. But I think since then, and I've maybe made that point before, I think it's also a really tough time to bid it away from a local institution, especially Uncle's. And with all of our local restaurants struggling, the idea that we're spending $30,000 to have an out-of-town restaurant tour bid it away from Uncle's, at least would be something that would make me feel was not in the best interest of Darien. And then I guess the third thing is, I think the other great piece of information is, what does Uncle's think? And maybe they don't want this, but at least based on what Pam shared with about Greenwich, it seemed like we were getting a good deal. So I would have the other side, but I want to just say thank you for your work on the meetings.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me just give a little bit more color to the concession and the process. The process is that indeed Uncle's is in the last year of its contract, and I do believe that we fully expect that Uncle's will bid again for the next contract. The point of owning the equipment is so that someone else will bid as well, so that we will have a competitive bidding process. Right now, since they own the equipment, Uncle's does, no one else is willing to jump in and have to lay out the money for the equipment. So I don't know that it's necessary. It wasn't, I don't think it was out of town people that were talking to, at least the name that I heard was not an out of town business that would be in competition. So all in all, the point was to get a better result from what we had and give the Park and Rec department an opportunity to manage it. Right now, they really can't manage it because they don't have any control. Okay.
And if we can,
Is anybody else? Yes. Can I say who it? Can you say who it is, please?
Diane. Diane.
There you go, Diane. Yeah, go ahead, Diane.
Just one comment. If we don't do this year and put it defer it to next year's budget, there could be a problem because we would already have to have been working with somebody for that budget, which means, if Uncle's was the only one or for that season, if Uncle's was the only one who came in, we might end up with them for another 3 years. Is that correct?
Can I make a point? This is
I'm not sure.
If we have to do another contract is what I'm saying with Uncle's, it might be another 3-year contract that he wants.
1 year. Kip Coons at the Board of Selectmen meeting this week. They had a meeting on Tuesday and they had a meeting on Thursday. And he said that if they defer, then they would do a 1-year contract with Uncle's.
If Uncle's do that.
Yes, he suggested that they should do a 1-year contract.
Right.
But we don't know that Uncle's would agree to that either.
Right, but the point being, we wouldn't, it sounds as if we wouldn't want to be locked into a 3-year contract. So if we did it, they would want to only extend a 1-year contract. So I just want to make that point for y'all. Per their.
Sure. I'd like to read what actually I emailed with Pam about it, because I wanted to make sure that I knew a bit more about the concession stand and about if it was a priority, and I believe it is a priority. They haven't, and then just give me 1 second, and then you can go. Is that Bill? Okay, let me do it one more time. I don't know who that was. So I'm going to read what she said. Okay. We'll go back. We'll go to Bill as soon as I finish saying this. Okay. I'm quoting Pam. He said, "I'd like to see the concession equipment remain in the budget, so we own the facility equipment for the following year. This is Uncle's final year on the agreement, and otherwise we will get no other bidders. If necessary, that's it for that. And what does the $30,000 buy you? It buys you every piece of equipment that is currently in the facility now." Okay. All right, Bill. Did you want to speak, Bill?
I think he's got connectivity issues, Adele.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else that hasn't spoken?
I've already spoken, and sorry to, and I guess I'm an outlier or contrarian, but for $30,000, understanding how much more we'll make in terms of concession revenue. And so I'm just using the information that Pam shared about Greenwich and relative population sizes. Just say we make an extra $1,000 per year, it takes 30 years to earn back our money on the investment. And that's just I wouldn't do that in my home. I don't think most people would do that in their business. So that's where I think that's out.
I agree. I kind of agree with that, actually. I agree. If that was really the only reason, I might be there with you. Go ahead.
This is Jen. I just want to pop in with the fact that I just don't view it as a completely transactional issue. I think that having a better concession stand at Weed Beach would be a really big asset to families and everyone who visits there. And I've personally been very disappointed by the offering of Uncle's. I get that they're a local provider, but I don't think that's the only reason that we should support their business there. The food isn't very good, in my opinion. I don't think they've done a very good job. So from that perspective, I, as a consumer of the beach and of the concession stand would like to see something better. And I think that, yes, we are, as a town, as this operation exists, we need to be fiscally responsible, but we also are here to be, I don't know, like, what is it? Our fiduciary responsibility is also to take care of the people within our community, you know, and give them a great experience. So I don't know. I don't want to look at it purely as how quickly are we going to make back this transaction, because I think it's more than that in our town.
I think that's an excellent point, and I do agree wholeheartedly with you. I feel like maybe I'm only looking at this in one way, but I think buying equipment so that we can offer the same offering as Uncle's doesn't, I don't know if the issue is with the food offering, that you don't want as much fried food, or is it the quality and delivery of that menu? Anyway, there's a lot of detail for a relatively small item, but I actually agree with that point, that if the service or the offering is substandard, having it be high quality should be one of our goals. I just don't know that buying the same equipment to get the same offering from Uncle's gets you there, but I agree with your point.
I think like bringing in other people from outside the community to say, like, what do they want in their concession stand? Like, I'm just one person. Maybe people have been happy with it. I don't think we really have a broader understanding of what the community thinks about the current offering. So, I mean, to your point, 30,000 is a lot, and have we done all the due diligence that we need to do to even know if
Well, I actually think that's probably the commission's job, and they put it on their capital list. So I think they support the concession stand. So is there anything else on this list that anybody else wants to
Can I
talk
say
about?
one more thing, Adele, though? Because the
Yes.
one thing I would say is that I would love, so I agree with both Kara and Jen's point. I would love to see the commission, via Pam, send out a survey monkey to town. I mean, this is the perfect time. Everybody's stuck home for the next month or so, or at least till May 20th. Why not be asking now, what kind of food would you like to see at our beaches? Do you want fried food? Do you not? Do you want salads? Were there just too many salads? I know we're talking about pear tree, which is separate, because we had talked about, should we have a hot dog machine there or a fryer? But this would be a great time to do that due diligence. And Pam has all of those emails, because she has, every time she does a big email blast, she has it. Be a great time to do a survey, much like when they did surveys back around the master park plan. So, 30K is a lot of money when we are being asked to defer things. I, of course, want to support everything in our budget, but for me, if one has to go, this one seems like there needs to be more work around it, and it could be deferred. So that's just my opinion.
You know what, guys? I want to say this to Diane. Diane, do me a favor. Cheryl keeps trying to call me, and I know she wants to tell me something, but I am on my iPhone with the meeting. And so I'm going to decline her, but if you could call her, that would be great.
Okay, I'll be
Okay.
right back.
All right, folks. I think, folks, is that nobody says we have to pick something on here that has to be deferred. The selectmen did not pick something on our list to be deferred. So anyway, that's my point. I'm going to ask now if anyone has anything to say about any of the other capital projects that are on the list.
The only thing I would say is I support everything, but if
Are you trying to get
if
us
they're
to?
gonna if somebody is gonna take a whack at our budget, would we at least want to be saying this is the one that we could live with, or the two that we could live with, but don't touch these things? So that's just a point to discuss.
I kind of hate to put one thing against another, Patty. We could have a real fine discussion on that one as to what we think is more important than the other. You know, we could go to down a slippery slope there. It might not be fun, but
I just mean it's gonna, F&B is gonna do it. Do we want to weigh in? They're doing it right now. They have a 6 o'clock meeting. They're with
of course
Jack.
they are.
Probably
Of
going
course,
till 9.
of course,
Yeah. So
they're gonna do whatever they do.
yeah.
That's what F&B does. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be listened to or that we necessarily have to go down the road with them, to be quite honest.
I agree with that. I just think that we're really way more informed
Can you hear this?
on the details of all of those. So, you know, that's all. That's my point. I'm hoping that they don't cut anything. Yeah.
We did. Cheryl and I did our best, and probably I explained it a lot better to them, I hope, than I did to you all. You know, the various points about the different things on the list, because they weren't just questioning this; they were questioning everything that was on the list. I have to say that the list was compiled by Pam, and I think she was being a real team player when she supplied those possible cuts. You know, the idea was, man, if everything went downhill for the town, we can put this off. She was being a real team player. Not every department did that, at least in my humble opinion. So, anyway.
Agreed. The selectmen said that at their meeting, at both meetings. Pam was really a team player. So, you know, we appreciate that. And I agree that we don't want to make it unfair and uneven. I just, that's it. That's all I was saying.
We did get some good feedback from the Board of Finance on some of the points. I don't know where in our meeting with Cheryl and I don't know where they'll come down in the end, but we made the points. There you go.
I have Cheryl.
So I guess I'm
I don't know. I have Cheryl on the phone
Cheryl on
here.
speakerphone.
I have her
Okay, good.
on my
So
phone. You're with us, right, Cheryl? Listening?
Yeah, I hope so. I can hear everybody. Yes, and Adele, you're absolutely right.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna turn it up a little.
Yeah, I didn't want to go into having a problem here with all of you. Okay, Cheryl?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, go.
Adele and I think, tried our hardest to get the F&B committee to understand that, Pam did what she had to do, and I'm not so sure everybody else in the other departments did the same. So, I missed a lot of your conversation. I'm sorry I got cut off on the screen, and on that GoToMeeting thing is not working now. So Diane was nice enough to call me.
Adele suggested it.
And thank you, Adele.
You're welcome. Afraid to touch my screen, to be quite honest. It would all go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do we want to do here? Are we gonna vote on these budgets, or are we going to what would you like to do? What's your pleasure?
I would like to
we can vote
to
now, or we
this.
cannot.
I would like to vote now because our next meeting is the same meeting as this will be voted on by the Board of Finance, correct? Board of Finance?
No, by the RTM.
Yeah.
Our next scheduled meeting is the 8th. Yeah.
And that's the RTM vote. So I think it's important that we let the Board of Finance know how we feel about this prior to.
And the Board of Finance meeting is tomorrow night, correct? Or the F&B meeting?
No, that's Board of Finance will review the Park and Rec budget tomorrow and the meeting, I believe, starts at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay. I should be home by then, and I will hook up the computer immediately.
I think you can be able to get it right on TV on channel 79.
Yeah, it will be streamed, I believe.
Okay.
So Adele, then perhaps we take I don't even know if it would be a vote, but I'm sure you're going to want to give them feedback from our meeting, like write them an email or minutes and just say we support all of the projects that are in the budget, and we hope that you will too, if that's how everybody feels. Because, you know, I know F&B is going to come back and give all of their feedback. So if you want us, you know, we should give them something. We should at least respond to them. So whatever the team here wants to do, if we want to say we support everything in here, we think Pam's been a team player, and please support it. Or we could say if there's one thing you wanted to defer, it would be X. So, but doesn't, you know, in a perfect world,
Or,
Okay,
you know, do that plus say the
we've heard,
real expenditures of $30,000 on the Weed Beach equipment.
Excuse me,
say that again.
Cheryl?
Well, I mean, I agree with Patty. You know, go ahead and vote on this, that we support the whole budget, the whole contingency budget, and that we really would like to have everything. But if we can't have everything, the main thing we would like to have is the Weed Beach equipment.
oh no, that's not what we, that you fell off the train when you heard that.
Yeah,
That
I
was,
did.
that was the thing that several people felt could be deferred. So if we're
Oh,
not
I'm sorry.
unanimous
Okay.
on this, then let's just say we want to support everything.
Or we can do a preliminary vote on that and see, you know, if
I think
something was to be cut.
I would like to hear from somebody that hasn't said anything. Okay, so let's see. Sue Ellen, did you have a comment?
I can't. Oh, I can talk. I thought I was muted. I'm kind of conflicted. I mean, I'm echoing.
It's okay. Go ahead. You can just make it quick.
Okay.
Hey, Sue Ellen,
Um,
while you're talking, turn the sound down. I know it's hard not to hear yourself, but that's the easiest way to
like
deal with
that?
it. Yes.
Is that better?
Yes.
I think at this point, I'd like to see what the Board of Finance, if they're willing to put this forward. Money's going to be tight no matter what. I guess I'd like to see what the pushback is there, if there is any.
Thanks. That brings something to mind, which was, I believe what will happen is if the $680,000 that the Board of Selectmen suggested be deferred or bonded or whatever is not enough, and I think the Board of Finance will then send it back to the Selectmen to find some more cuts.
Okay.
They have
or
asked
some more
for that.
deferrals.
They did ask for that at their meeting yesterday, that if you needed to cut more, to send it back to the Board of Selectmen. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Okay, so Sandy,
Yeah, I
did you
agree
have an
with
opinion?
I agree with what Patty said and everybody. If one thing needed to really be cut, it's the concession. I agree, but I mean, we would like it, but if it has to go, that would be the thing.
Can I say that the one thing that when we had our discussion, the one thing that nobody had anything against deferring, in other words, the one thing that everyone agreed on that would be deferred would be the truck.
Yeah.
For $60,000. Okay.
Right.
So just add that back into everybody's thinking. Okay.
Can you say that again?
The one thing in our discussion with our buddies,
Yeah.
that got no pushback on anything was the possibility of deferring the truck for $60,000.
So does that mean that they definitely feel that they need it because it's a maintenance issue, or they don't care if they push it back? I'm just trying to understand, because I wasn't on it that meeting.
I'm talking about the reaction from the Board of Finance and the F&B buddies. Yeah,
I understand.
they thought that was a given, that would be deferred.
Oh, okay.
Okay, am I saying that right, Cheryl? So if you're,
Yes.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you think we need to offer one thing up, that was what that's what was discussed.
I'm not saying
Anyway,
that we
okay.
need to offer something. I'm just saying if we, I don't know.
Well, I liked what you said before. I
Yeah,
liked what you said
everything.
before, that we support everything.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we have to realize,
Jennifer,
they're going to take a whack at it.
well,
Not necessarily.
we'll see. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Jennifer, do you have an opinion?
On the concession
Jen?
stand? Are you talking about the
Not
concession stand?
particularly, not just particularly the concession stand, no, just on the capital budget.
Hey, Rob.
I don't think that, I mean, while I still question the use of the
What is
$30,000,
this?
I'm not totally on board with it. I also don't feel like it's going to make that big of a difference to the overall budget in terms of
What's
looking for
that
cuts.
one?
So therefore, I don't think it's like something to make a big deal about. But if it's to, raise our hand to offer some sort of, pushback, then I guess we could, but it doesn't sound like we need to at this stage.
Okay. Bill, did you want to say anything? We can begin to hear you.
Me?
Bill.
Bill.
Bill's having,
Well, we had him for a minute, I think.
yeah, he's having a lot of connectivity problems,
Yeah.
and I think it's, he's been trying manfully, but I don't think it's working for him at all.
Okay, all right. I don't know. Would somebody like to call him?
I already have Cheryl here.
I might be able to come up with his phone number.
I'm going to go get another phone.
Let's see.
Who's there?
I know you can't because you're already engaged. There he is. Can you hear us, Bill? Yeah. Okay. All right then. Well, I think we're gonna have to do something here because everybody's pretty much said their piece. So I'm gonna need. Hi, Bill. You're breaking up, unfortunately, Bill. So, I liked, Patty, your what sounded like a motion that we all support the budget, but I'm not sure if everyone of the capital budget, I'm not sure everyone was in agreement there. So how would you like to go, folks?
Since I'm the outlier, I'm fine with that suggestion. I think that at this point, if they're not asking for additional cuts, I just think with the 30,000, it would be good to know what our objectives are in spending that. And maybe that's a separate conversation with Pam. And if there's a quality issue, to Jen's point, figuring out what we need to do to provide great service. But I think just buying equipment so that we could have a competitive bid doesn't seem like it solves all that we're looking for. But I agree, if we don't need to make any other cuts, then let's just let it lie.
The one thing I want to go back on, Adele, was the truck, because Pam, I believe, said that that truck is good for another year, and that was $60,000, right?
Correct.
So I guess I would say that I am more interested in the concession stand at this point than in the truck. If we could go for another year with that and defer that. I'm just concerned about getting into a situation next spring where we would not even be able to look at anybody else except for uncles. And I like uncles, but along with Weed Beach, they do provide the food for Pear Tree. And right now, what is the Pear Tree is very little and not very good. So I think in my own mind, I'm saying, well, whoever we get is dealing with taking care of both of those beaches. Am I right, Cheryl? Cheryl?
Yes, and Uncle's Deli was not open as much as they should have been all last year. He was closed on July 4th and he was closed on Memorial Day weekend. So we really need somebody that's going to step to the plate and open the concession stand all year. Although this year, I mean, our beaches are going to be open, and we do have camps down there. Last year, there's 40 some odd kids in a camp, and a 95-degree heat, and we had no drinking fountain down.
Cheryl,
We lost her. Yeah, not,
keep going.
Right.
who knows?
Here she is.
For
She's
the,
back.
for the community.
She's back.
Yeah, who knows, Cheryl, what's going to happen for this summer? We just don't know that, but
Well, we don't know.
but-
I mean, we don't know.
but this is for
Adele,
next
can I
year.
ask, did they, to the point on the truck, did you and Cheryl or anyone ask if the truck could be leased?
No, we did not ask that, and nor did anybody on the F&B or the Board of Finance. So did we lose somebody there?
Yeah,
Did we lost
we lost
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Try to get her
Okay,
back.
I think she's done pretty well.
Yeah.
So, okay, can I have a motion to, can I have I guess what I hear from Diane is that when this comes back to if it comes back to the Board of Selectmen for more cuts, or the Board of Finance decides to cut more things, and they did want to, if it's going to come back, it'll come back to the Board of Selectmen. But at any rate, is a different. I think Diane's point of view is that if there was something that had to go, that it would be, she would wish that it be the truck, not the concession equipment. And some other people aren't such fans of the concession equipment. But I guess what I'm like Patty's initial thing, and a few people have chimed in, is that I would love a motion to support the capital request as it stands from the Board of Selectmen now. Can I have a second? Well, first of all, I need a motion from somebody to that effect.
Cheryl's back.
Okay,
Just
second.
the motion.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sandy, that was. Are you doing okay over there, Sue Ellen?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now we can have more discussion. If you don't want to do it, if you don't want it to do it that way, vote against it, okay? So is there any further discussion? Okay, can I think I have to call by name and ask you how you vote. And this is for let's see, right.
Would you start with Cheryl in case we lose her, please?
Okay, all right, that's a very good point. Would we like to make this for the whole of the budget, or would we like to make it just for the capital budget?
Well, the motion was for the capital, right?
It was, so let's stay there. Okay, Cheryl, okay. Cheryl, I'm sorry. Are you for, against, or abstaining?
I'm for.
Okay. Patty?
I'm for.
Diane?
Or
Kara?
May I ask a technical question as a newcomer? How do you guys handle, so on not-for-profit boards, people value consensus and we leave and we all have exactly the same opinion. So since I know I'm the only outlier here, but I also want to be the team player, are we going for a unanimous vote, or can I vote how?
You can vote however you feel. It'll look better if it's unanimous when I send my email to the Board of Finance for their meeting tomorrow. But your vote is your vote.
But Adele can give both, the pros and cons in an email to the Board of Finance. Like if we were at if we were at an RTM meeting, she gives both sides of the report.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah.
Yes, I can. It won't be as effective, but yes, I can.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives if somebody disagrees with something, it gives them the right to have their voices heard and their viewpoints made.
That is true, but they usually vote against the motion when you give that report. you know, for,
So
yeah,
if you vote against this, if you vote no, then Adele, and then tell us why you voted no, then Adele can send that in the, or
that's
say,
correct.
well, send it in the email.
That's correct.
I'll vote for it, but I think with
You still,
the idea that I think that we need to have better clarity on what the goals are of spending the money on the concession so that we're successful.
okay.
I think that should be included in the minutes. You could say one person voted for it, but had reservations because. What did
Right.
you choose? That was how it went. Say that again, Kara. Better.
Objectives of what we're trying to achieve with the 30,000. If we duplicate Uncle's equipment and we end up with an offering that, if Jen represents a lot of folks, which I imagine she does, then we're back to square one. So
I don't get the last bit of that, but I got you. I probably understand your position. Okay, I'm going to vote yes. Sue Ellen?
Yes.
She had a lot
I
of
thought
yeses.
Andy was coming, but he's. Sandy?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Bill? Bill? I think we lost him again.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think we've got him. Yeah.
Yeah, can you come
Okay.
back and say thank you?
Yeah, I don't, anyway, I think we've lost him again. That's too bad. You know what, guys, with this whole discussion, as we may have this discussion again, you know, if we need, you know, if there's a big change.
Anyone there?
Are you for, Bill?
Hello?
You are. Bill, are you for the motion or against? To support the capital budget?
Here.
Bill, hold up a
Somebody should call
sign
him on
that,
the telephone.
Well, I'd have to hang. I
No,
probably could
somebody
do it.
else.
Can somebody call him?
if somebody gives me his phone number, I'm happy to call him.
Do you have his number, Adele?
well, I'm looking. Okay. It is his home phone number. He doesn't have a cell. It's 655-4475.
Get him on just like we have Cheryl on.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a
yay.
yes. Thank
Hey,
you.
Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Oh, that
Okay.
was funny.
God.
Okay.
Technology.
And that's everybody, I
Or
think.
Okay,
with
so it's
reservations.
What did he say?
Well, I don't
Or
know,
with
Bill,
reservation.
but I got yes. Oh, you got the phone.
Or I am for with
I am for web. Well,
Are you still
Somebody
on the phone?
Is anybody on the,
I'll call him now.
okay, thanks. And then we'll move on. Actually, we're gonna circle back here, and you know, it could be that we'll need to vote again. I'm not sure, but that's why I'm trying to do it tonight.
Why do you think we'll need to vote again?
I have
Well, if something
Bill,
massively changed.
I have
Here's
Bill
Bill.
now. I
Okay,
have
can you
Bill.
ask him how he votes? Bill, do you vote in favor of the support for the capital budget?
He says he votes the way Cheryl does.
Okay.
On the train with her?
Oh my God.
Okay, I think that was a yes. I'm not sure. I lost my earphone. I'm starting laughing here. Okay, let's move on. Okay, all right. I think this one,
Okay.
can we
He
can we
just
do?
said he has a very poor connection. He only hears bits and pieces, but he votes as Cheryl does, and he votes yes. Is that correct, Bill?
Yeah.
There we go. Yep, I'm gonna hang up from this phone now.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill. Good night.
Night.
Okay, well, we haven't voted on the operating budget. That's all those in favor of supporting the operating budget as is currently in the selectmen's budget. Can everyone just say, let's see. Okay, is there anyone that is opposed, that doesn't support the operating budget? Please say yes now. Are there any abstentions? Again, I think that's unanimous. And I guess we don't get Bill on that. Somebody asked the question, why would we have to vote again? You're probably right. We probably don't. We voted to support what's in there. And if they take stuff out, we'll still be voting. We'll still have voted to support whatever is left. We may have something to say, I think. But if that makes sense.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right then. So thanks, yeah. Not to have beaten a dead horse, but I beat a dead horse. Sorry. Let's move on to my report, to the chairman's report, which I guess really is to report on what the commission has been doing. I mean, they canceled a meeting, and then they had a virtual meeting, and then they had another virtual meeting. So they met on the 15th of April, and they met again on the 22nd of April. And they spent a lot of time talking about the freight's request for permitting and using to tie up their boats at Pear Tree Point by the boat ramp. And they had a permit. It was going to expire on the 30th of April, which is why they had the second meeting to make sure they voted before it expired. And they also, at the same time, in both meetings, they talked about the rules and regulations for the paddle tennis hut and court, and they managed to tie that up too. So they voted on both those things on the 22nd. They voted to extend the freight's permit until the 31st of October, as is that he is to tie up his two skips in the southeastern direction beside the boat ramp, which is the Pear Tree Point side of the boat ramp. They gave him permission to do that, but they also set with a caveat that should he not do what the permit says, follow the rules, that they may take other actions. They may cancel his permit. That's what they said. So, and also that they will try to have meetings and set up a policy for this, so they don't keep revisiting this subject. Do a better job from a policy standpoint of view of this. It's a unique situation.
They're allowing Roger Freight to keep his boat on the
skips
side of the dock until October, and then after October he can put it on the other side of the dock.
No, after October he doesn't have a permit anymore. So they have to, at the end of October, by the end of October they have to have work this out with their policy and figured out what they're going to do. But for now, it'll stay the same. They figured it's not the time to change something with a local business. And aside from that, I think that they talked. They actually talked a long time about it and went back and had reviewed some of the minutes from previous times years ago when they first started, doing this, and how it had evolved and why it had evolved. And so I think So I think in the end, I hope that they manage to do that before October 31st, but he got his permit for now.
And it's 2 boats. It's 2
Well,
still.
Yeah, now
it's
it's
two.
two. You started out as one, and now it's two boats.
Evidently, it used to be kept on the other side of the boat club, but then the boat club rejiggered the way they did some things, and there wasn't room for it there, and that therein lay in the problem, where he didn't have a place for the boats. But he obviously doesn't bring his big boat in, but it's the little boats that he uses to ferry things back and forth to the other boat that's on the mooring. So that's the idea, and that's what they did. The rules that they had tweaked their rules, and I think we had heard them mostly in the previous meetings, and they've gone over them multiple times. So they voted for that, and it should be posted within the next 30 days. Also, in
Dogs.
the first, yes, exactly, dogs.
Dogs.
In the first, hey, Cheryl, Diane, why don't you talk for a while?
Okay.
Diane will fill us in about some of
Getting
the
a
other
little
things
tongue-tied.
at the commission meeting. On the
There have been
15th.
some problems again with dogs off leash, particularly at Woodland Park. There was a dog bite, and there are no dogs allowed off leash at Selleck's, right? It's a big concern right now, and the commission asked that they will send the dog warden over. They wanted to talk to him to Woodland Park. Strong reminder to take this seriously. There are no dogs allowed until the situation is over here. And Lori was very specific on that.
Diane, I just heard that the dog warden is not employed at this time because he's not an essential worker.
That I've not heard. That's news to me.
I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, I had an email from Lori the other day about a different situation, and I said that I had also heard from somebody that not only are dogs off leash, but people are throwing dog feces in bags all over the park.
Yes.
And she had said to me that Chips isn't working right now because of the Corona-19, because he's not an essential worker.
Jeez. Well, that is an issue, isn't it? Wow. Evidently, it's not just at Woodland.
It's terrible because we need control of the beaches and the parks, and now we're not having it.
Yeah.
And I guess the other sign is that there are perhaps some bikes on the Diller property, so they're going to put a sign up there, no bikes allowed.
The Diller property is so small, and it already has 3 signs on it. Like, I just, it's making me crazy. What's our sign budget? That's all I'm saying. It's not that I'm supporting bikes on it. It's just my next thing I'm going deep on is what is our sign budget? Because we need to consolidate it or put it all on one thing, 3 signs in a row.
That might be a good idea.
Beaches look so unattractive because we're having so many signs all over it. So that's my point. Go ahead.
I agree. I don't like a million signs all over everything either. It's too bad people just can't follow rules all the time, though.
Yeah, I think people are just not following the rules anywhere. I mean, evidently they didn't. That the dogs have become more of an issue, unfortunately. So I guess the commission's just going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, or big picture, maybe the commission actually spends the time to really thoroughly look through. And again, I don't go to Woodland, so I can't speak to it. It's not my place, but maybe they need to think of a long-term plan there where something specific, because it's a really, really big piece of property there. And so maybe people can share and they can have portions or something like that. But what I will say is watching so many people out now walking with their kids, with their kids and their dogs. So many families have dogs in town. We lack sidewalks in so many areas that if we do have opportunity to allow safe walking with dogs on leash, we should encourage that. So,
But that's a good thing, Patty. But it's the problem not of the dogs on leash, it's the dogs off leash. And also people have complained in the past that they are walking in there with their dogs and other dogs are loose and coming at them. And the people are coming to get the dogs and they're in close contact with those people and are not comfortable with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear your point. Again, I don't spend time at Woodland. I'm sure there's other people in this group that do, and perhaps they can proactively work with the commission to try and find a solution that's fair. But anyway, so moving
Yeah,
on.
I know it.
It felt like they
Yeah.
spent so much time talking about dogs at their last meeting, and they didn't realize their budget was going to be financially cut and weren't thinking. It just frustrated me watching their last meeting. Like, to me, I would be more in the preservation of how do we save the Parks and Rec capital budget instead of spending all the time about the dogs. So, moving on.
Yeah. One thing they did talk about in that meeting, which was about budget, and I didn't mention it when we were going through the budget stuff earlier, is the revenue. And I think we can all guess that the revenue is going to be down. And they did say at that meeting that they were guessing between $45,000 and $55,000 down for the spring. So let me see. I think that's most of what I had from the commission. Diane, we had talked about I know today that
Today's meeting.
Today's meeting and the selectmen. I'll start by saying that the commission did mention that they expected that the Weed Beach Fest would be canceled, and the birthday bash, obviously. And Diane, you want to talk about what the selectmen said today?
They said that they were going to reopen the beaches on May 7th.
Not May. I thought it was June. I thought you said June. Sorry.
I thought they said May today.
Oh, it's May. I'm hearing next week. I heard that from
Okay.
the
Okay, right. I
wrote
it down wrong. That's okay.
June 7th was, they were talking about reopening town hall maybe, but May 7th was to reopen the beaches and they wanted social distancing at the beaches. And we'll have people there actually some of the police and others that will be there to be watching and talking to people if you're closer than 5 people in a group, unless they're all family members. So that there are going to be 4 stages to reopening, as I think all know. The other thing is the Memorial Day parade is going to be canceled, and they have talked what is it? The
4th of July.
No, the Memorial Day. Sorry, and the fireworks. But the Memorial Day parade, they may do a little parade. Somebody else. Now I'm echoing, right? A little color guard parade with the Grand Marshal coming from the Fitch home to the cemetery, going down Hecker Avenue, perhaps. But they have to talk about how to distance people who will come out to see that and how to do that at the cemetery. So this is the one committee that will be talking about that and seeing what they can do. Jamie had suggested maybe adding the fire department to it, but they were I think they were a little concerned about, getting even larger groups out there, and also how to get people off the thruway at exit 10 there when they were coming out, so not blocking that. But I guess there's time to think about that because it's going to be so much smaller than the regular parade. And we said the fireworks.
Or cancel.
Are canceled, yeah. And maybe they'll do something. The call for a suggestion was maybe something for the 200th anniversary of the town instead, to get something going rather than the fireworks. I think that's kind of Weed Beach and the Bicentennial celebration, which was scheduled for June 6th. They're canceled. And that's pretty much it,
Yeah, maybe
right?
that's where I got the June.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
Can I just ask a question? Because I thought they
Other,
raised, hello, sorry, I just want
sure.
to ask a question because I thought they raised a lot of money for that bicentennial, and I'm just curious what they're going to do with all those donations.
Oh,
I don't think they
I don't
really
have an answer for
talked
you. I
about
don't have an
that.
answer for. No, they didn't talk about it. I don't know how much money they've raised. I think that they will try to do something, and I guess that the money will go back if they raise some. You know, I think I have confidence that they will figure that part out.
Yeah,
I
I was
agree.
just
They
curious
didn't mention it
if
though.
they give it back
Yeah,
or
it's a
donate
good question.
something else.
It's a good question. Good question. Anything else, guys? I know. I'm in Virginia, so I'm not there to see it, but I understand that the Highland Farm construction is going on.
Yes.
So that's the update on that. And the Weed Beach Trail is still on hold as far as I know. And Pear Tree, I sent you all that email that at the last commission meeting that the Pear Tree building committee was going to, put it on the shelf. There is going to be one last meeting on Wednesday of the building committee at what time? At 7 o'clock, at 7 p.m. It'll be a virtual meeting, and I think that's because Dan Biggs is going to give some feedback from Deep, and they're going to tie up the loose ends before they put it on the shelf as requested by the first selectman. So there's the board of finance meeting is tomorrow. Is there anybody have any questions about anything?
nope.
No. Okay. The Board of Finance meeting is tomorrow at 5 o'clock and is streamed. And then, like I said, the building committee meeting is Wednesday evening at 7 and is streamed. And you can get to, excuse me, it's not streamed. The building committee meeting is a GoToMeeting like this one is.
So, can we get on that then?
What did you say?
When
Yeah,
we go to it,
yeah.
we don't have to be approved beforehand.
Yes.
No. Okay.
No. Like there could very well be people on this meeting, that aren't on our committee. You won't be allowed to speak, but you
Right.
can certainly listen to it. Absolutely. Same thing
And will
for the
that
Board
be
of
on June
Finance, but
79, Adele, at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
not the building committee, but the Board of Finance
No.
will.
The Board of Finance meeting will be on 79?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
What John Z has done is he's gone to town hall, for the last one, and he's there. And then the rest of the folks on the Board of Finance dial in. And then
Okay.
I'm hoping, right, that town newspapers and Twitter and social media will get out the information to people in town, right, or any of us, like it would in a normal situation where we would be attending that Board of Finance if we wanted to, and then giving feedback or asking questions. And so this way, I believe people will send in their questions or comments or emails in advance, and either they'll be read or they'll be posted at some point. That's what I
Right.
believe.
Like the Board of Selectmen meetings.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what they do with all the ones that are streamed. Well, ours too, when you get right down to it, because people can't, there's no public comment on this. You have to email me, I guess, your comments ahead of time. Is there anything anybody else wants to talk to? Any other business?
No, Adele, I just want to say, so you're going to send a note, right, saying that our group voted to support both the capital and the operating budgets. You know, we met on this date, we voted to support that, and that you're going to send that to the chair of the Board of Finance tonight or tomorrow
I
morning.
am.
Okay, awesome. Great.
Probably tomorrow morning, if that's okay. I'm sorry, I was twisting some arms there, guys. I don't know. I feel like we need to support the budget, and we will tell the truth, and then they can make their own decisions. You know, what can I say?
I don't think you were twisting arms, actually. I think, everybody voted for it. Everybody kind of voted for it, except, with a question or two. So,
Well, maybe I should say thank you for supporting the budget.
okay.
I'm gonna
And
hang
actually, guys,
up because I'm getting cut in and out.
I was,
So have a good night.
Okay,
Everybody stay safe, stay well, and hopefully we'll see you sometime.
Safe travel, Cheryl.
okie doke.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Thanks, Diane, for calling me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Adele. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for everybody managing to get on. And actually, it's good to see everybody's pictures, except for the fact that I've had this little block up at the top where it says Cheryl Russell voicemail that I've not been able to get rid of it. So Sandy and Sue Ellen and Patty have been totally obscured for most of the meeting, but never mind. Okay, may I?
Oh, see, I have them. I have
May I?
Sandy and Patty and Kara and Sue Ellen
Well,
and
I
Jen
have them too.
and poor
But
Bill.
I just have
who's
Cheryl's
not moving.
message. Yes, I just have Cheryl's message.
I'll make a motion.
Anyway,
I'll make a motion to close out our meeting, or however you appropriately want to say
yeah,
it.
to adjourn. Is that
To adjourn.
Patty
Make
made a
a
motion?
motion
Do I have a second?
Sandy? Or
Okay, I think we have many, Sandy. Yeah, we have many. Okay, thanks, guys. Stay safe, and I hope I see you guys soon. Okay.
We hope so too. See you all.
stay
Be
safe.
safe,
Glad
everybody.
Safe, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.